Welcome back to the channel. It's Nick here, 45 Degree Sailing, and I've been rummaging through some old footage. Today's video is about picking up a mooring over the stern. This became very pertinent to me, again, because I had just done a little bit of training with a client about how to do this method, and they've just gone and picked up a mooring ball today, and it was really windy, and I haven't debriefed them yet, but they fouled a line in the prop, one of their lines, and the prop had to sail away. So I was going over about details about this and going, right, how is it best to do this? How is it best to set this up? And a huge thing is about this line you're going to use, because it's quite long, and how you manage it. So we're going to talk about this example I did single-handed on my own and how I managed the line. Unfortunately, there's not a lot of wind here. So let's dive into this. Okay. So you see the first thing I'm doing here is I'm just preparing my line. Now, really important that this line is organized, and I'm going to give myself -2 points right now because I've allowed that line to be by my feet, meaning I could have set this up in a slightly better position. Anyway, so right now I've got the line. This is a 30-meter nice 12 mil line that I've got specifically on this boat for this purpose. So having the right stuff makes this a lot easier. When you've got the only 50-meter line or 30-meter line, 25-meter line that's on the boat, and it's a big, thick, braided line, it just makes it harder. So especially trying to pull it through the mooring ball line. So in this point, the first thing I do is get right downwind of the mooring ball so that I can come stern directly to the wind to be able to pick it up. Now the bonus in this is that you can go almost as slow as you like. Now I will always plan, if I've got them, to use my bow thrusters in a certain way when I'm doing this, because I can orientate the boat towards where I want to go by thrusting the bow over and shifting it so that then I'm going in a straight line backwards instead of having to steer with the rudder. Now, that is important because at really slow speed, your rudders will do very little. So right now, have I added a little bit of forward there? I look like I've added a little bit of forward just to slow down as I approach. I didn't do this with bow thrusters, I just did it on the rudder, but you can use the bow thruster for this method. So now at this point, I've slowed down before I get to it. Now I'm just approaching the mooring ball. There's a tiny bit of momentum upwind. I can go down. Oh, it's a big swim platform, obviously that makes it a lot easier, and then I can thread this. Now, if I needed to flip the mooring ball up the other way or anything, I have that time to do that. Now, right now, I'm not driving or anything like that. This is the time I'm getting that line through the top and around. Here we go, use the thruster, a little bit of thruster just to bring the bow up towards the wind a bit, encouraging the wind to be more on my beam so that I can fall off the wind. So now that I get all of that extra line off, I want to make sure I know exactly where my line is. Now I'm engaging, here's next bum. Now I'm engaging reverse just for that moment to give myself a little bit of momentum backwards. All right, now I'm pretty sure I jump cut here. So I gave myself that momentum backwards, then into neutral, so that I'm now reversing up past the mooring so that I don't have to do any of the work of actually pulling the boat. And then I can walk that line to the front, pull it in as I go, and now I can cleat it off and done. There it is, okay? So that is ideal in this case. Now my sound's pretty bad on this, so let's see what I'm saying. Slightly off to the starboard of the wind. Pause that. Pull the boat out into position. By the time the wind has caught us, I've pulled all the slack in and it's right there. And so if you do, in this case I didn't have to get underneath the gear, but you can see we were stationary. Exactly right. By the time the wind catches us, I've pulled all the slack in, and that's easy. And so we can just put it onto the mooring ball. Yes, you've got the issue of you need a second line on there. So you're gonna have to either go into the dinghy, go into the water, or drop a thread through something, or you can, once it's settled, you can lift it up with a couple of people or use the line and thread it through the bottom, whatever. That's fine. Watch this short that I've got here about how the line's set up and how we thread them through the mooring ball, because that shows the anatomy of how we do it. This one in particular, I used a line for this, but that already had like a bridle, a yoke or a line on it, which is attached from the mounting point at the bottom to the top of the ball and then up to the boat. So you can use that. That is strong. It is from the mooring point. The mooring point is the bottom of the ball, okay? That's it. And then make it really, really tidy. So that is the process. And you can see I did that on my own. Now, there's not a lot of wind there, okay? But the process works very similar when you do that with wind, because being able to top up your speed slowly in reverse. Remember, when you're in reverse, you're pulling. I always use this analogy that the boat's like a flag. Okay, when you go upwind, bow into the wind, it's going to fall off this way, or it's going to fall off this way. When you bring your stern to the wind, you're pulling from the engine, which is so close to the back, and the rest of the boat follows. It just kind of flaps around like a flag does. Okay, so you have a much better control point reversing into the wind. And that's what we're going after here. We're going after control and slow everything down. And then you've got time at the mooring ball to be able to put the line on. You're down lower if you've got the swim platform. You can still do this by hooking the mooring at the back. It's just much more controlled. But you have to be very careful that that line that you've gone, that's connected to the bow cleat, all the way down to the stern is one, outside everything. You can see in this, in the shot of earlier on, that the line's hooked over the rail. It is, but it's still outside everything, but it's just over the rail so that it's not hanging in the water. But it's outside the lifelines, it's outside the side stays, the bimini, all of the bits and pieces. It's outside that so that it's clear to run. And then we thread it through and run it up. So that is the method. You can go back and watch the other video, picking up and mooring over stern, the other sharpen up video we did when we first did this with David, and we made a couple of mistakes. We did it well. It's a good video to watch the context, because we also do the other version of this, which is if it is windy or in a situation where you need to capture the buoy, just capture the buoy and get on it, and then do the long line, then you can do this capture throw over the buoy. So check that out on that video. Hopefully that will be really helpful. Anyway, thanks for watching. If you want to see any more like this, subscribe to the channel. Please, comments welcome. If you've got constructive or criticisms, or whatever it is about this, we want to hear it. We're just trying to make the channel better and better and give you guys as much information as possible. So thank you for watching. See you.